Live from the City of Angels, it's Monday night in our Monday Madness edition of MMT. We took the night off last night, so I figured we'd roll on a rare Monday, a tighter stream than usual. I wanted to keep a promise to myself that I'd actually do a stream. Beat up last night, beat up tonight. But I found something pretty fun to talk about. It's a great article from THR, and we'll discuss that in a second. I also want you to pay attention to the track in the background. That is from tonight's MMTE. It's Mother Mary, A24's new one. David Lowery is back with Anne Hathaway as a pop singer. A film I don't particularly love. There's things to admire about it. We'll break that down in just a few minutes, but I do like the tracks. A lot of good songs in this one. All right, guys, let's do it. Let's do our top story here tonight. It is the night monoculture died. Right, we talk about this all the time. You know, I'm a child of the 80s, Gen X, and when we were kids, we all watched the same things. We all went to see the same movies. We all knew what song was the number one song across the country with Casey Kasem and AT40. But not now, right? Monoculture's dead. That ability to experience everything at one time as society is just lost with all the fragmentation, atomization, as we like to say. You're talking about a YouTube you're watching here tonight. We're exclusively on YouTube tonight, not even X. You've got X, you've got Instagram, you got TikTok, you've got how many streaming channels, all the regular channels. I mean, there's so many options for you, right? On any given moment, you can be anywhere. And I think that's the thing that has really caused this fragmentation. Obviously, it's just too many options. But you go back to an article that I saw a few days ago on THR, and it really is the kind of stuff that I love to read because you don't really think about this. When was the last time that we experienced monoculture? And then, you know, listen, this article, I think, nails it. And you can see, and we're going to watch the moment that the dude who wrote this, give some love here to Rick Porter, who's the writer of this article. It happened back in 2014. During the selfie, right? When everyone, 44 plus million people were watching the Oscars. I mean, we're nowhere near those numbers now. So you go back 12 years ago, and this was the moment that broke the internet, right? As soon as that selfie went out, it was the biggest retweeted thing ever. In fact, let's watch it. For those of you who haven't seen it in a while, here's the actual event from the Oscars. As we will check back in 12 years later, we all know Ellen is no longer who she was, right? That changed quite a bit. She was essentially canceled for being mean. Well, a bunch of other stuff too, but right? I mean, there's a lot of stories about Ellen DeGeneres being super duper nasty when it comes to anything off screen. Like just one thing in front of the camera, another off. Here's the moment from 12 years ago, and it's wild to watch this again. Doesn't seem like 12 years ago. Here it is, Ellen and the selfie. Stop. You guys know. Listen, let's just talk for a second about this. The whole thing about the pizza. You guys know, right? Listen, I don't want to go there. This is just like, I just want to get the stream through tonight. Let's do it. But if you haven't looked into that, look into it, okay? I'm going to leave it alone here tonight. But all of that is really curious, too. Look who's in the very back, Kevin Spacey, right? How did we know 12 years later that two of these people will be gone, right? Ellen and Kevin Spacey, both crazy. And here is, as you guys know, we go back to the article here. There's the actual selfie they took that night. By the way, the camera was a Samsung, which was a sponsor of the show. Like the little things that you don't pay attention to that later you understand why they happen the way they do. And that was how that went. And listen, back then, everyone was watching the Oscars. because it was the thing to do. You go back, and I'm going to show you in a second because this article is really great about talking about how that last moment, essentially. You go back to 2014 and you look at the difference between the monoculture of then, when everyone was kind of on the same page, or at least closer to the same page. I mean, not like back in the 80s when I was a kid, but still much more so than now. I mean, you look at Netflix, I think House of Cards hadn't even debuted yet, or if it did, it was brand new. There was barely anything going on streaming-wise. No Disney Plus, Hulu, none of that stuff had come in yet. So you look at it, and Netflix had just done that pivot from DVDs through the mail to streaming. Everyone was like, no, this isn't going to work. What are we talking about? Netflix, you sell DVDs. If you would have bought Netflix stock back in 2012, 2013, man, you would do done. You wouldn't have to work ever again. I mean, it was down to like $40 a share, okay? So you look at that time, and it was just different. People don't understand, how did that moment break the internet? How did that happen? Because, again, when you have 40-plus million people all tuned in to watch the Oscars, and you talk about that monoculture that's lost, and that's how you get that done. It could never happen nowadays. Go back and look here. Look, this is the domestic box office by year, okay? 2010. $10.57 billion. 2011, a little bit under, but still above 10. 2012, back up almost to 11. 2014, the year of this Oscar ceremony, almost 11. Over 10 for the next year. Over 11 in 15. 16, 11.5 billion. Okay, 17, 11. 2018, call it 12. And then 2019, still above 11. But then look, 2020, as we guys know, we came to COVID, and then boom, we were down to 2.2 because theaters were closed and we were told if we go, everyone will die. Okay? Then you look at 2021, starts to go back up. 2023, remember we talked about that 2023, that surge? Look, it's at $9 billion, which is higher than we are last year and the year before, right? So that is still, though, under the numbers of 2019 and 18. You talk about essentially 12 billion down to 9 billion. So you've lost $3 billion in sales in the past, how many years is that? 6 years. That's crazy. And that's what we talk about with movies not being nearly what they were, as far as Quentin Tarantino saying the last year that movies were 2019, and you can see it there, over 11 billion. We're not even close now. So that's one of the snapshots here. But you go back and you talk about not just movies, but you talk about TV shows. You talk about Big Bang Theory was the #1 show on television with over 23 million people who watched that show. Okay? Then you go to 2014, 21 million, starts to go down, right? But then you get down to now, and you're talking about Tracker. What the fuck is Tracker? I don't even know. Who's on Tracker? See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I have no idea, but 14 million people apparently watch Tracker. It sounds like a CBS show, doesn't it? Like an old person CBS show. But 14 million versus 23 million. So we've chopped off 9 million people off the #1 show because of that fragmentation, that atomization, that loss of monoculture. And, for better or worse, I mean, for me, I kind of like it when everyone's on the same page. Like, that's when movies are really at their zenith when it comes to power, is when you start to get a film that everyone is talking about. You go back to Super Mario, that's the #1 film now, third weekend in a row. You even look at Project Hail Mary, which is over $500 million worldwide. That is closer to a monoculture, but it doesn't happen as often as it did when I was a kid. Like I said, when I was back in high school, we went to the movies every weekend. We're like, what's coming out? We're going. Friday and Saturday. We were always at the multiplex. Kids these days are not, man. They are watching YouTube. They are on Instagram, doom scrolling. They're on TikTok. They're doing all that shit. They're doing things that we didn't even have available to us as kids. And when you give someone more options, then of course People are going to start taking those, and then you get the slow eradication of numbers at movies, watching shows. And it's just the loss of that overall communal experience that I think is the essential power of going to the movies. When you get to alongside someone you have no idea who they are, and you're all there in one room, and you get to, at that very moment, take this product in. That is something that is the power of cinema, no question about it, for good or bad. Lately, it's been a lot of bad here on MMT. But when it's good, you have those moments you're like, oh man, this was a special night. Doesn't happen often. And I think this weekend, when you look at a Michael, which will have our MMTE on Wednesday night, that's a film that I think is going to be certainly very big, right? We're talking about 75 plus million on the domestic debut easily, because there's a lot of just buzz about this film. And obviously, we know the legend of Michael Jackson. Go back again to when I was a kid, the biggest thing ever. Those albums were, every song was a hit, and you could not escape them. When Monoculture was everything. And that will translate to the older audience coming out this weekend and over the next several weeks. And I think even the younger, they're going to be checking this thing out. So this will be really fun, I think, this weekend with Michael. And we'll have that early reaction coming up on Wednesday night. There are early screenings wherever you are. Check your local listings, as it were, and you will find them. If not, then obviously you can see it this weekend. But I'll let you know what I think works and what doesn't work. I think it's going to be a greatest hits kind of thing. It's going to be pretty much by the numbers, nothing all that, controversial for sure. I mean, obviously there's some controversy with Michael Jackson, but I'm talking about the way the film, it doesn't do this. It's going to be very straightforward. It's going to be just the nuts and bolts of Michael Jackson and the Ascension and just what people want out of the movie. And I think that's what you want to do here. You go back and look at Bohemian Rhapsody. A lot of people are like, there's not enough gay. I mean, dudes, first of all, anyone who saw Bohemian Rhapsody, there is so much gay in that film. The only thing missing is a gay orgy. What are we talking about? I'm telling you what, the gay community, unless there is a gay orgy, they're like, there's not enough gay. Dudes, we got it. Freddie Mercury, gay. What are we talking about? Like, it's there. Like, I can't even believe these people, but it's the gay crowd who gets pissed there's not enough gay. And again, you want more gay, go to porn, okay? There's enough gay in there. That's enough discussion of gay and Bohemian Rhapsody. But seriously, go look at who was bitching the most about that. All gay dudes. Yeah, that doesn't mean we have to have the gay orgy. Good Lord, okay? But, it's never enough. He didn't surely show me he did Freddie bending over. No, forget it. But this is the world we live in, right? Someone's always going to be pissed. It wasn't enough. With Michael, we'll see. I mean, I can't wait to see it. Come with your thoughts about Monoculture. I'll get to as many comments as I can on the backside of this because I want to get through this, and then I want to go to, right now, Mother Mary, and just knock them out and then do comments at the end. Because the stream's going to be tight. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I almost said, let's not do a stream tonight. But you know what? I believe that you need to hold yourself accountable. So last night, I got back from the beach super late, and I went to the bar with my buddies afterwards. We had a beer. It was all good. But I'm just saying, because of that, it pushed me back. And I got home, and it was like getting dark. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to chill. No big deal. But I said, let's do a stream on Monday. And then tonight, I'm like, listen, let me tell you something. The key to life is to continue showing up. Whether you want to or not, you just do it, okay? And you'll get through it. And I think the key is like, look at tonight. I'm not going to do an hour. We're at like 15 minutes now. Maybe I do 30. But the point is you did it. It's kind of like going to the gym. Even if you don't go in there and totally expend yourself, you can still go to the gym, do something, and then at least keep that momentum going. And listen, I've been doing the stream now for how many years? 4 years, okay? Every Sunday and or Monday. So if I have the opportunity to continue that streak, let's just go for it. And there's always, dudes, guys, look, even if it's 15 minutes, I did it. At the end of the day, like I said, you just need to do it. So here we are tonight, ready to do Mother Mary. I saw this film on Saturday. I wanted to love it. Listen, it's David Lowery. You talk about David Lowery. You talk about one of the most diverse filmmakers out there. You talk about the diversity of his films. You look, for me, his number one is A Ghost Story, because I think that film spiritually, especially on the back end, the expanse of time, just what a symphonic, beautiful conclusion to that film. And it just blew me away. I mean, I remember seeing that down in Huntington Beach when I just moved back to Southern California. And I was like, oh, wow, this is a spiritual ascension. And I think that's the beauty of that film. But you look at what he's done with Pete's Dragon. You look at all the different things that he has brought to the screen. The Green Knight, certainly a sluggish film. This film is sluggish. So listen, David Lowery, Old Man and the Gun, that's not a typical David Lowery film, but he can deliver that too, right? He does Disney films, he does traditional kind of stuff, and he does weird shit like Ghost Story and Tonight with Mother Mary, a film that's very hard to describe other than to say it is a bastardized version of In Fabric. You guys don't even have any seen In Fabric? There's a lot of that film in this film. It's not as good. It's an A24 cult horror film that I really dig. What a score on that thing. Talk about wild. But let's talk about Mother Mary, and let's do a quick look at the trailer, and then we will get into it here on this Monday night. Thanks for being here on MMT. Here's a taste of Mother Mary.
You are standing under the lights. Here you come, marching down the aisle. You're doing what you're born to do.
And you hear that's the opening track I played tonight. It's great. Right? This looks like a music video. It's got a polish. It's got all that motion of a David Lowery, just the sumptuous beauty of it. But this is the thing, right? And now we get into the weird shit, is that I love the concert stuff here because it looks great. It sounds great. The songs are cool. I'm totally down. You've got a lot of songs that all work, and they're also that electronic kind of stuff that I love, right? I mean, pretty much everything we start the show with sounds like this, so it's perfect. I think you also have that visual sumptuousness, as it were, and that works. You know, Lowery knows how to make a film like this look good. You know, you've got these extended tracking shots that are strung together and edited really nice. So they look like one long thing, almost like a Wes Anderson kind of shot. That's all looking really cool. The problem here is the story when you've got Anne Hathaway, who's this pop singer, and she's basically possessed by a haunted piece of fabric / dress, hence the In Fabric. And I saw Luis saying that I'm slandering In Fabric. No, In Fabric rocks. It's a cool film. This film has just a lot of things it's trying to do, but yet also manages to do very little. And that is problematic when I am dozing off, right? About 30 minutes into this, I'm like, okay, this is not happening. They get stuck in the costumer's place over in England, and Anne Hathaway's having a discussion with her same girl who's in the brand new movie, The Christophers. She's great. So this is 2 films in a row for her, but it's really a two-hander, right? And they're just talking about making the perfect dress for her, but yet she's also been taken over and she needs to have an exorcism from this dress that she essentially swallowed. I mean, you see what I'm saying? It is a little In Fabric-y, but it doesn't work. Okay, listen, it's not scary. It's not really interesting beyond some of the songs and, like I said, the technical stuff that I see David Lowery doing. Apparently, this thing was on the shelf for a while. And, you know, you talk about a film that even A24's like, we don't know what to do with this because we don't think it's that good. And they're right. It's not. You know, David Lowery, I think, really needs to, and you look at Green Knight, you look at this, he's got to almost have someone next to him who says, we need to not be quite so weird. We need to do this. He almost well, I mean, I'm there for you, David. I can help. But, you know, you just need to have that person guiding you. He kind of needs that. I think he is a visionary-esque director, but this is another miss. And after Green Knight, you just start to say, David, we've got to get you back into an area where you're making really good or great films. And again, Ghost Stories is best film, no question about it. 55% on this. Not great. It's not the worst film I've seen this year by any means. I'd rather watch this film again than have to sit through The Mummy for one more second. But again, you talk about should you watch this film? You're just going to get into it about 20 minutes in and go, my God, I'm bored as hell. And you'll be justified in feeling that way. No question about it. So hopefully next time around, David, you get it right. But again, A24, they knew what they were doing by putting this kind of just out of the way and then just dumping it. They're putting very little promotional into this. They're just throwing it out there. It did okay, obviously, in the platform weekend. 160, I believe, $1,000 on the 5 locations, not 5 theaters. We talk about this all the time. When you talk about that platform, it's not 5 theaters, it's 5 locations. Burbank had this on, I'm not kidding you, 10 plus screens. So when you have all those screens, then it obviously isn't the same as one screen. In the old days, they'd platform it on 1 screen, 2 screens. Now at AMC Burbank, they have it on 10, 15 screens. So my crowd was half full at best. And that's the other thing we get back to the monoculture discussion from the beginning of the show. In the past, even back to when I first moved back here to Burbank in 2017-18, I'd go AMC and it was packed for an A24 film like this. Even Beau is Afraid was pretty much sold out for every screening. And I'm talking across 10 different theaters. It's just different now. A24 is not a dead brand by any means. You look at a drama, obviously it's doing pretty well, but it's just not the same. It's movie going overall is down. And like we just saw with those numbers, when you're off by $3 billion in domestic receipts, $3 billion, that's a lot of people that are no longer going to the movies, that are missing. And that's why these theaters are closing. It's pretty basic stuff here. All right, guys, let's do some comments here on this Monday, and then we'll bolt out of here. Listen, Vox Lux, it's another great call, Kusma. Agreed. Obviously, I think that film's got much more going for it because you've got the school shooting stuff in there that is just so intense. I think that film back end doesn't really work on Vox Lux. Beginning of that film, that concert stuff, and then you got the school shooting, super intense. What's happening? When I first watched that, I'm like, what is this? This is insane. But in a good way. Not Brady's best. I still think, you look at that as just the jumping off point. You can tell he's a very talented director. But yeah, it's kind of right. Let's take this pop star and then do something, put the twist on it. But whatever David was trying to do here, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work like it should. I like Anne Hathaway. She's super hot, okay? Still looks amazing. And I like the other gal who's, again, in Christopher's, and she's very talented. So you've got things, but, again, you just wish that the entire film came together. It's kind of like we all do, right? So obvious when I say that, but it's true. How often does it all come together? Those are the films we're going to have in the top 10 where everything works, or most of it really works to build to something that what the director wanted to deliver, they delivered and delivered perfectly. This film does not deliver at all. Really, what I think, I don't even know what the hell he wanted to do with this film, to be honest with you. And if you saw, oh man, you did, Johnny, that's impressive. Because it was only in a few theaters here. That's a very low release A24, very small. They did not even go wide with that. In Fabric was only on a couple, Alamo Draft House, a couple screens here and there. So I don't know where you saw it, Johnny, but it's that's not a wide A24 film. But you've got that, God, what were those guys' names? The electronic kind of experimental group that did that thing. It'll come to me, but that score is unbelievable. When I was watching that film, some of those choices in that, really cool. Those are the kind of things I like to see, and I go, wow, I was not expecting this. Weird, but works, right? It's weird, but it knows it's weird, and it does things. I think the first half of the film is better than the second half, right? It tells you 2 stories, but again, I'd much rather watch it in Fabric than a Mummy. Have I mentioned that how much I hate the Mummy? Oh God, awful. And listen, that film did not do well this weekend, right? If you missed yesterday's box office show, when you look at that film and Lee Cronin, listen, I don't want to see the new Evil Dead movie. The last one was not good. You got Lee Cronin doing this shit. again, I really need you guys to tell me. I need someone to come into the comments. If you're watching this on the replay, come in the comments and explain to me, how the fuck did Lee Cronin end up being Lee Cronin, name on a film with the title, and a guy that made a movie, Hole in the Ground, that was completely forgettable, okay? And you're now going to ascend him to like this status? We've done this so many times. There's that new movie Hokum that's coming out, right? And that's the dude who did Oddity. Oddity was not good, okay? I don't care what you tell me. Oddity is a snooze fest, and it's not impressive from a directorial standpoint at all. But now all of a sudden, from the director of Oddity, you know why? I can tell you why. It's, same thing with Lee Cronin, is that we have this world now where we have everybody has an equal opinion, which is bullshit. It's 100% bullshit, because there's some people who should not have an opinion because they suck, especially in the film space. And because you get these shills out there and or people that are completely clueless with no taste, no resume, no nothing, they're out there saying, oh, this is a masterpiece, Oddity. You're like, what? What are we doing? The studios don't care, because they'll take that all day and they'll just work with it, right? If as long as someone's out there saying, well, this is a masterpiece, we can use that. We can roll with that. We can create that propaganda, and we can create that whole bullshit narrative. And that's what we live in now. We live in a bullshit narrative world. Project Hail Mary, another perfect example. Because all that early praise, not a great film. I'm telling you, man, it is not. And I've talked about this a billion times. Not doing it tonight. We're doing a shorter stream. Go back and watch the evaluation. And people know who've seen it. A lot of you come in and said, Weber's right. It is not great by any means. And the thing is because, though, we have people out there banging the drum, masterpiece, oh my God, look at this. They can run with that. And then they can say, well, these people said it's a masterpiece. We have such a muddied, watered world, right? Where just anyone can say anything, and then you just throw it in there, and it's like, well, this person said that. And the younger generation, like we've talked about, you can't tell them that their opinion is garbage, because like, that was mean. I was always told that I was great. Look how many trophies I have. I never won anything, but look at all the trophies. That generation has been told over and over and over, bashed in the head with, you are so perfect. Nothing you've ever done is wrong. You are just a gem. And the reality is none of that's true. They're forgettable. They have no talent. There's nothing special about them. But yet, because that's mean and we can't have that, then of course we have now a world full of people that all believe that they are special and they're talented and look, and then they're not. And you're like, well, who told you this? Just because someone told you that doesn't mean it's true. You look for the stuff. I've been doing this stream for now, 4 years? I've been doing this for a long time. I started doing on-air film criticism way back in 2012. So over a decade of doing this. And let me tell you something. That I get enough people coming in out of nowhere, unsolicited, saying, you're very good. I think you have a really good handle on what you're doing with these films and what works and what doesn't. I don't have to ask for it. These other people don't get any of that, but yet they believe it. You know what I'm saying? I don't even listen, I go to the movies. I think I'm pretty good at what I do. But at the end of the day, I know that we're talking about movies. And I talk about this all the time. Eventually, I'm going to branch out from this and do other things, because there's only so much you can do in this space. Not to mention, you have people like a Brandon Davis. You have people like a Soups in this thing. Those people I don't want to be around. Those people are not even part of truth. They are part of bullshit. They are shills. They are working for the studios. I have no interest in that shit. And those people will be forgotten by the sands of time, tomorrow. When it comes down to it, they've never done anything that is noteworthy. Not a single thing that they've ever done is noteworthy, because they're not interesting people at the end of the day. They don't have true opinions that are anything other than what you expect. And they are more than happy to issue up some kind of bullshit quote for studios that can use it for the next poster. And that's not at all what I have an interest in. And for that, then it's time to expand, get out. And I think, even like it's tonight, talk about a monoculture. It's not quite what we do. It's a little bit trying to stretch in. And I think at some point we can do more of that. There's so many viral videos and stuff going on in the world that I could totally just absolutely go off on. And the issue is that I definitely have strong opinions about some of that stuff. And then what's going to happen is some of you are going to say, well, look, he's leaning so far to one side or the other. Listen, at the end of the day, I think the truth is the truth. I don't care if you think that's right or left. It is a truth, okay? And I will always go back to my upbringing and the world that we had back when I was a kid, certainly a better world than we have today. And the introduction of all this bullshit that these people keep inserting into society, not cool, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I have a lot of opinions about that. And it is something that I'll tell you what, when I go, it's going to go. And it's going to be really super out there intense because I've held back. I've telling you guys, you've probably seen parts of me where you start to see it come out during COVID. I wish I was on the air during COVID. They would have yanked my channel off of YouTube. No question about it, because I wouldn't have been like Frosty the Wonder Bitch. I would have said, this is bullshit. We've got to stop all this COVID fear. This is nonstop propaganda. And I would have said that. I knew that back then. I go back and check. I 100% knew that. I've been all over that shit from day one of all that. And that needed that then. That we needed people like that. And I can promise you this, when we go there again, I'm not going to be staying back. I'm going forward, because let me tell you something. If we ever have that shit happen in society again, I'm going to be part of the resistance. 100%. I'm not playing these games anymore. I'm not going to play the game of, no, we need everyone, all hands on deck. When this shit goes down, we need to have people that are ready. And I'm not talking about go to war. I'm talking about to push back against these narratives, to push back against all this bullshit. Because at the end of the day, if you're not doing that, that's how they win. The more people that are speaking up, the more people that are saying this is not right, that's when you get things changed. And I try to do it here in the film space. I try to push against these narratives, but unfortunately, the film space is full of left-wing, hard left-wing people. And the majority of them are so biased that they could never even recognize what truth is, because if the truth leads them to something against their side, then they're not going to be able to go with the truth, because it's, oh, well, I'm sorry, I'm tribal. Fuck that. Tribality means nothing. What means everything is truth and what is the right thing to do. At the end of the day, I have never, ever ceded from that point, and I never will. I will continually fight the right fight, the good fight, and I will not sit back and be quiet when it's time to go. No chance. And I told you guys before, at the end of the day, this channel will never rise above the Riddler's channel from the Batman, because the AI, the algorithm knows if they watch any of these streams, this dude is not part of the plan. This guy will not go along. The studios know it. And I don't care, because why? We're here one time. We are here one time on this planet. Why the hell am I going to capitulate to the bullshit narratives that are being pushed out there when there's an opportunity to say, hell no, we're not doing this? I talk about this town. You look at Los Angeles right now, it is a disaster. Okay, we have home invasions everywhere in this town. We have homeless everywhere in this town. We have no crackdown. We have no getting rid of this shit. And I'm telling you right now, I've said it before, if I am the new mayor, if I am the new governor, if I'm the new president, we are building prisons that are the size of the ones in Dread. Okay, we are building Dread-sized prisons. You're going into the massive skyscraper because you robbed the store. You're not out on the street in 72 hours, 24 hours. You're going to the massive skyscraper. You're going to be in there for 5 years because you're making society shittier, because you're a shitty person, and you're going to stay in there. And you can change your tune and come back out in 5 years. There is no way you're getting parole. We need that world, because listen, if you do the crime, you're doing the fucking time. What are we talking about? What world do we live in where you can get away with doing this heinous shit and you're back on the street and you have 5 felonies, 10 felonies, 15 felonies? These people need to be locked up. If you don't have the space, you build bigger prisons. This is not hard. And I don't care what your upbringing was. I don't care who raised you. I don't care how hard your life was. You still have to make the right decision. And if you aren't, then you're going away. It's that simple. This isn't hard. I can't even believe that we have to have this discussion. It's insane to me. The lack of accountability is just how? It's got to be by design. That's the only answer. Because if you're doing something that you belong behind bars, why are you on the street? It doesn't make any sense. These judges like, well, he had a hard life. Who gives a shit? I don't care. Why do I care if you had a hard life? Too bad. I wasn't raised rich. I don't expect things my way because, oh, he's a white guy, or, oh, I come from money. No, but yes, I am the former, not the latter. But everyone is treated the same under the eyes of the law, whether you're rich or you're poor, whether you grew up in the ghetto or you grew up in the most expensive suburb in the nation. It doesn't matter. You did the crime. You're going away. This isn't hard. Activist judges, bullshit, man. Dude, you guys should know from watching this channel. What do you think makes me good at doing this? Because I'm objective. I'm fair. I don't care if it's directed by a woman, a man, minority. It doesn't matter. What matters is the quality, the merit. End of discussion. Same thing for the legal system. I can't even believe that we have this shit going on in this country. It's crazy to me. Home invasion, you're going to jail for 5 years minimum. You're in jail for 5 years. A gun's used, 10, 15, 20. Not, and there's no parole. It's not even on the table. There's no parole. And we're not even having a discussion. Get out of here. You're going to just leave. Go. Put them away. This isn't hard. How is this hard? That's mean. These poor people. Make better decisions. I'm not doing home invasion robberies after the stream tonight, last I checked. You want to end it? You crack down. You give severe penalties. You look at UAE. You look at those Qatar. You look at what happens over there. You see any theft over there? No, because they will go medieval on you. And once the criminals know that that's how you're going to be treated, then guess what? It stops. These criminals know I'll be back on the street in 24, 48, 72 hours. It's unbelievable to me. All right. It does look like, see, this is what I'm saying. I could do a whole stream like this every night because it's true. Look, dude, we could pull up how many videos. There's a guy that was set on fire in downtown LA last night. Downtown. 70-some-year-old dude set on fire, probably by a homeless guy. There's so many crazy homeless people on the street here. Do you have no idea? No clue. It is nuts. You just go drive down through Hollywood, drive down through downtown LA. You couldn't pay me to go down to downtown LA to see anything. Never. It's totally unsafe. Remember that actor that was on General Hospital? He came out. They were stealing his, what's it called? The underneath the car, right? They were ripping that out because that's worth money. Catalytic converter. And then he gets shot. He's dead. No one can. Oh, it's okay. It's moving on. Just part and parcel for living in a big city. That wasn't happening when I first moved out here. I used to park down in Hollywood. I was taking improv classes in Hollywood when I first moved back here in like 2017. I would park in a pretty shady area. I didn't have to worry about my windows getting broken. I came back to my car. It's no big deal. I would never do that now. That same area has homeless everywhere, crazy people, crime. It's Gotham City. Because we have a mayor, we have a governor who don't believe in cracking down in our no nonsense. We just have to. How is anybody, how are you even for that? Like, how are you against what I'm saying? Cracking down on people and taking, you do the crime, you're doing the time, like big time. Not like there's no way out. It's very standard. It's almost like a spreadsheet, right? What'd you do? Home invasion. That'll be 5. You have a gun. 10 years. 10 years. Goodbye. I'm sorry. Was there anything? No, he was there. We got it. They put him away. 10 years. Put him in the dread jail. Being authentic, true to yourself is what makes you say, yeah. You know what? That's true. It's true, Louise. And what I just said will piss off a lot of liberals, like our friend at the Wrap with his 3 strands of hair. Too bad, Wrap guy with your 3 strands of hair. One of us is the man, and one of us is definitely not the man. And I can tell you what, the man's here. He's not on the other side of this camera. He's in front of the camera. You, my friend, are a nobody. You will never be remembered by anyone on this planet. That's how insignificant you are. At the end of the day, I've done more in my life on the good side of the ledger than you have even dreamed of conceptualizing in your massively ego head. So don't ever forget that 3 strands of Wrap. I will always dominate your bitch ass. Do not forget that. Ever. Okay? We good? Make sure you do not forget that, because I can remind you in person if I need to. Don't ever consider yourself on the level of me. Don't ever. That's the biggest mistake you'll ever make. And I'm telling you, man, these people, if you have a problem with me, you have a problem with yourself. Okay? That's the truth. And this goes to my critics out there. You're the problem, not me. Because I'm outspoken, because I want things to get done, because I'm saying how things should be, and I'm right. That doesn't make me bad. That makes me actually fearless, whereas you're not. You cower. You capitulate. I don't do those things, okay? And I'm not going to start now. And that's the world we need to live in. We cannot have any more of this cowering in the corner. It just doesn't work, man. DTLA is such a war zone. And Luis, I mean, listen, I don't go down there. I don't go anywhere near it. It's like crazy. I'm so insensitive. Yeah, unhoused, whatever. Don't care. I mean, that's the thing is, right? I'm not going to worry about hurting someone's feeling. Dude, they're homeless. What are we talking about? Unhoused, homeless? What? Tomato. What are we talking about? Okay? I'm not suggesting that those people have not had a hard life. But still, at the end of the day, you're the sum of your choices, right? Go back to Mission Impossible. And if the sum of your choices leads you to a place that doing drugs, you're on the street doing fentanyl, you're having all these issues, those are choices you made. No one forced you to do that. So remember, it all comes back to the decisions you make, back to the criminals. You're making decisions. You're doing these things which you should not be doing. And as such, you made the decision to do this. Therefore, you are going to be held accountable. Accountability. It's not hard. Accountability for your actions. And your actions are criminal. Therefore, you are going away. It's so basic. Good question. This is the last question tonight, and then we're out of here. I said 30 minutes. We're at 40. I'm already 10 over because I just went on that rant because I told you guys I can do it. Here's the deal. If I could run studio, I'd take over Warner Brothers tomorrow and I would fire a ton of people. It would happen within seconds. It's 5 minutes down the street, max. It could probably be parked inside one of the buildings within 5 minutes. I would get rid of everyone who let Lee Cronin make that movie 2 hours and 15 minutes. Whoever did not stop that movie from being 2 hours and 15 minutes, you're out. Okay. Whoever selected Lee Cronin to do another film after Evil Dead, you are done. Okay. You're out. We're moving on. And then I'm going to look at, a little of everything, but we're going to stop stuff. We're going to stop things like Bride. Bride would never have been released. It would never have seen the light of day. It would have been Batgirl. They Batgirl. That film deserved to be Batgirl. So, listen, Warner Brothers, even though Paramount's coming in, look, Paramount's coming in. They need someone in there who knows what they're doing. So Ellison, listen, dude, if you can't tell that I'm the guy who will get shit done and will not take any shit from anybody, then I don't know what to tell you, buddy. Because I can tell you this. We're going to make great films. We're going to make sure the budgets are in line. And we're not going to greenlight shit unless it's really good. The script's got to be there. The budget's got to be there. And we're not going to overhype these directors who come out of nowhere and say, oh my God, they're the greatest thing. It's not happening. You got to earn it. You got to earn it. We're going to get into business with people that we like. We're going to get into business with, as I mentioned so many times, as soon as I see a Rose Glass, I'm like, we're getting into business with Rose Glass. As soon as I see Patton Ford, bring him in. He's next. We're just grabbing guys. We're not bringing the director of Oddity in. That shit's staying out. That's not a good film. You got to be able to recognize this stuff and then work. David Lowery, I want you to come into work, but let's look at some scripts here. I want you to direct and I want you to work with this writer. Can we get something where the two of you work? Because I think you're a great director. I think your problem is your writing. Your writing's not really as accessible as it needs to be. So what I want you to do is take what you know from behind the camera and work with this writer who's badass. And I want the two of you to come up with something. I trust in that. Go do your thing. Get back to me in a few weeks, months with the script and let's get going. That's what you do, right? And you got to be very direct. And I don't care about hurting someone's feelings. You guys come in here and say, Weber's this. I don't care. You could tell me right now, Weber, you're outspoken. You're this, you're that. I don't give a shit. Because at the end of the day, I have to get things done. And if someone's going to come in to the office and say, listen, if I was coming to the office and I was meeting me on the other side, listen, dude, you are super talented, you're super aggressive, you're super fearless, but sometimes you go a little too far. Can you just rein it back just a little bit? Well, okay, that seems fair. But again, this is my channel, so I can do whatever I want. If I'm working for Warner Brothers, then I understand the construct of studio and budget, and I've got to say, okay, let's do this. I wouldn't ever try to dial back what I'm trying to say. That's why I could never, ever do something for a THR Variety Deadline, because I would say things the studios would be like, get that guy off. He's terrible because he's saying nasty things and we can't have that. Like, I could never go and say quid quo pro, I have to do this because we need the advertising money. I'm just not going to do it. I'll stop doing this. It's over. I won't do this anymore. Why would I worry about that? Because that's what I want to do. That's my art. This is art. at the end of the day. What I do is much more artistic than Soups, much more artistic than Brandon Davis. Not even a contest, man. It's not even dude, this is singular. What they do is copycat, forgettable bullshit. There's nothing they've ever said that's even remotely, it's just so forgettable, all of it. And they don't have that. I'm going to keep forever. So whatever happens, so be it. It is what it is. That's the channel. Thanks for being here on this Monday. I'm going to roll out, but I got you to 45 minutes. That's pretty impressive. I thought I'd go 20 or 30. So there you go. You just get me on a rant about Los Angeles and criminality, and then we're off and racing. I'll see you back here on Wednesday. Let me have at least one night off. I'll be back ready to go. Regular show, Michael, big movie. Very excited to see this thing, and we'll talk about what's there, what's not there, what works, what doesn't work. Is Fuqua the right guy? Is he at least the sort of correct guy? You know, he might not be the perfect selection, but can he deliver just what we want? And what I want out of that film is the hits, okay? I want the backstory. I don't need a whole lot of the other shit, all the controversies. Listen, it's there, but I don't need that. I want you to focus on Michael Jackson's highlights, okay? And if it doesn't portray all of the ugliness in some ways, so be it. That's okay. You know, I'm not going to be that critic who's like, well, there was a deficiency in all of the, you know, no, sorry, dudes. You know, listen, go watch someone from IndieWire for that shit. I'm going to tell you if the film works for an accessibility, for a mainstream audience, and then did I like it as well? This is what I do. This is how I operate, how we evaluate. We're the best in the business, the gold standard. Thanks for being here on this Monday. I'll see you back here Wednesday. Peace out. Live from LA. Good night.